Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be setting up my bullet journal for April. This month we are doing a computer screen theme, which I have never done before, but I see many people have done this theme and it was just quite popular like a while ago, so I wanted to create my own version of it as well. So we are starting with my goals and focus for the month, and I am making the background of one of the windows. I saw many people creating these clouds with this theme, so I just chose two Mildliners and two Tombows to use for the entire setup, and I'm drawing cloud shapes with the four colors. I am filling in the window title bar with this mustard Tombow color, and we will be outlining the windows afterwards. It's been a while since I've drawn like continuous straight lines like this. If you've seen my previous setups or weekly spreads, I've been doing the disconnected dash lines. They are still straight lines, but it gives me like a little bit of a break each time I lift my pen, and I could realign my hand to keep the line going straight. But for this setup, I drew most of the lines in one go, and I was feeling very anxious that I will mess something up. Here I'm doing the same thing with the window behind. The reason I'm coloring in the sections first and then outlining afterwards is because sometimes the ink from the fine liners will bleed onto like the marker and discolor them for a bit, and it can cause like a mess in your journal, and I do not want that to happen, so I just put down my water-based markers first and then outlining later. I am then adding the little buttons to the top right of each window. I was debating whether I should put the buttons on the top right or top left. I don't know why I chose right in the end. I don't know my reasoning at that point, but yeah, I chose top right, and here I'm just adding 3 little circle buttons for my 3 goals in April. Below my goals, I am drawing these folders, one for each week in April, and this will be my focuses for each week. I feel like I've been doing things on autopilot or doing things as they get thrown at me, which means that sometimes my own priorities get thrown off to the side. It's a really tiring way to live life, and I think if I have this focus section, I won't fall off the track and as tired as I am right now. Well, that's the goal anyways. I named the folders Focus Week 1, Week 2, and so on, and I will write my focus in the empty space to the right of the folders. I am adding a drop shadow to the windows and folders on this page because I felt like it was missing something, but I think I chose the wrong color here, and I did eventually change it to black, so we won't spend too much time here and instead move on to the cover and quote page. At the top of the page, I am drawing this message box, which is where I'm going to be writing in my quote for the month. To the side of that, I'm drawing a document file just for decoration. I had so much fun drawing all the little doodles this month, and they are also like quite simple to make because they're just a combination of many different straight lines. I am making this grid pattern to add some more decoration to this page, and I'm not making a full rectangle because this will be behind all of the computer windows. Then we are coloring in the title bars, and you'll see in a minute that instead of coloring them vertically like I'm doing now, I figured that it's much more quicker to go horizontally. I don't know why I didn't do this from the beginning, but I eventually figured it out and it became so much quicker. The pink Tombow I'm using here might just be my favorite Tombow color. I've used this for my past 3 themes now, including this one, and it's a really nice shade of pink. I then outline the windows with the Pigma Micron, and all the stationery I use will be listed in the description as always, so you can easily find them there. Doing this theme this month made me remember how much I like mindlessly drawing straight lines. It was pretty nerve-wracking at first because I haven't done it for a long time, and because I'm scared I'm gonna mess it up, but once I got the hang of things, it was pretty relaxing. After adding in the buttons for each window, I'm making 2 boxes in the biggest window here, and this will be a login page, so the 2 boxes are for the username and password. I think this idea is quite fun. It's like logging into April, and there's a little box underneath for the sign in button as well. At the top of the first box, I wrote username and then password for the second one, and I still don't know what to write in that username space. At first I was gonna write my name, but then I thought that I could do something more fun, so I don't know. Right now the space is still empty, so if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment telling me what I should put in there. I added a black drop shadow to the sign in button, and this was when I first thought that maybe I should make the other drop shadows black as well. And for the password box, I just made little dots, so I didn't actually have to think what the password is, and I made sure to make it 8 characters long because most sites require your password to be 8 characters long, right? I thought that that was a quite fun detail, and at the top I just wrote April in cursive handwriting. In the smaller window below that, I wrote in April's calendar, and it is so satisfying to me that April starts on a Monday. The other window, I'm creating a music player type thing, so I made a bar at the bottom, and we have a play button and a forward and back button. Watching back the footage, I realized that this window is actually quite plain and a little too simple, so I will go back and add something to it. Maybe it's missing like a song title. Yeah, I should add a song title. I added the gray drop shadows here again, which I eventually changed to black, so don't worry, it actually looks way better at the end. Well, I think it does anyways. In the message box at the top, I am writing in the quote for the month, which again I feel like it looks quite plain. Maybe I didn't do enough planning for this month, but that's okay, I can always add stuff to it as I go throughout the month. But yeah, that's it for now for my goals planning and cover page. The next spread we are setting up is the monthly calendar, and for this spread you're gonna have to really trust me that it's gonna turn out okay. I really had to trust myself in the process too, because at first it just looked like messy blobs of color. For the calendar, I'm doing a browser of some sort, so I'm drawing these tabs at the top with a cream Tombow, and setting up this spread made me realize how much I actually dislike the paper in this notebook. If you don't know, this is a travel size notebook from Notebook Therapy, and the paper in here is different from their typical 160 GSM paper. This is only 140 GSM, I believe, and there's also like a weird coating on here that makes water-based markers really splotchy. You can really see it with the Tombow here. I really love this notebook size, but I do not think that I will pick this notebook up again in the future just because of the paper. Maybe if they change the paper or I ever enter a period where I do less decorated spreads, then maybe I will consider picking it up again. I colored one of the tabs pink, like how you know when you're on a tab, it highlights it, and so that it's a different color from the rest. So I wanted to replicate that here and chose Friday just for the fun of it. I also made the scroll bar here on the side, then drew the calendar grid lines with the same Tombow marker. I made the calendar boxes really big this month. Normally I make it like 4 grid spaces wide for this notebook size, but I increased it to 5 this month, which is the widest I can make it. I wanted a lot of space in my calendar this month because I want to try having less structured weeklies. I've just been feeling that the boxes on my weekly spread can be quite restricting. I don't have big handwriting and it still feels cramped, so I thought that if I will have less structured weekly spreads, then my monthly needs to have more usable space in it. But as you can see, one of the days is split down the middle by the notebook spine, so yes, I have more space, but I don't know how practical that split down the middle is. I am outlining all the different components of this browser, which I think helps make all the sections more clear and neat. I still think the blotchy colors are not ideal, but it looks a bit more tidy now. I am also adding like a backward, forward, and refresh button. I'm adding more little details like the search icon, the button to open a new tab, and also coloring in the scroll bar on the side. Here we are finishing off outlining the browser and then moving on to the other decorations on this page. There's not a lot of space left because the calendar itself is so big, but there's a little bit of space here at the bottom, so on the bottom right I'm making another window but drawing just the top of it so that it looks like it has been cut off. It'll be like a loading page, so after outlining the window and adding all the buttons, I wrote loading ... and made a progress bar underneath it. On the left side, I'm making more of these folders. They are really quick to draw because they are made up of just a few straight lines. You can copy what I'm doing here or search up your own picture of like a computer folder and follow that. Going back to the top, I'm writing in all the days of the weeks in the little tabs. It was a little awkward to write Thursday because of that spine, but I managed to do it nonetheless. After the days at the top, I wrote in the dates in the bottom left of each box, and we are done with this calendar spread. The next spread we are going to be setting up is the mood and habit trackers. I am starting again with coloring in the bar for each window. We have space for 5 habits this month, which is less than the previous months, and that is because I'll be tracking my workouts on a separate spread. After all the bars are colored in, I went ahead and outlined the windows. For this month, I am tracking my mood in the same calendar style as my habits, and that is because I think it will be easier to see the link between my mood and habits, and if the habits I did or didn't do that day affects my mood in any way. I was finding drawing all the straight lines really relaxing to do. When I film these bullet journal setups, I have something playing in the background like a podcast or other people's bullet journaling videos. And because I already have my pencil sketches, I don't have to focus on the design as much and can enjoy whatever I have going on in the background. Of course, if I get too distracted, that is when mistakes usually happen. We are now moving on to the other decorations on this spread. So we have a little loading hourglass thing here and files stacked on top of each other on the other side of the page. This bigger window here at the top will be a sort of like a title for this spread. So I wrote "Change My Life" there and drawing a little box around it so that it looks like a button. Then I went ahead and drew in all the buttons for each window. Down here in the right corner, I added more decoration, and this one is a safe icon. I went back to add a black drop shadow to the button, then wrote the habit title in cursive handwriting again. I think it is quite cute to have like a change my life button under the habit title there. Maybe it will give me a little bit more motivation to complete my habits this month. I added some colors to the hourglass, but I made a little mistake there. I don't know what I was thinking, so yeah, I just fixed it with a white gel pen. I then went ahead and wrote in all the dates in the mini calendars, and for the title of each different habit, I will write them in the title bar at the top left. It is a lot to write in all the dates, but this is also another task that I find relaxing to do. It is a lot easier to mess up, but thankfully I didn't mess any numbers up this time, and I love how it looks at the end. Then I'm doing this grid pattern again like on the cover page, which is a really nice way to make your spreads look fuller. And then this biggest window here is for my mood tracker. I colored in the color codes at the top. I'm only doing 4 this time because last time I did 6 and I didn't have a single day that I colored in like the happiest color, which I thought was a bit sad, but I did have good days during March. But I think because I had like 3 different levels of happy, my criteria for like the happiest of days were quite high, so I didn't color any days in as being like the happiest day. I hope that made sense. So yeah, I'm only doing 4 different moods this month. I then added more colors with the Tombow, and I did do the gray drop shadow again, but we will be changing that to black in a little bit. Yeah, but that's my mood and habit tracker completed, and now we're going to move on to the last 2 spreads of this setup. The first spread I'm setting up here, the spread on the left will be my exercise/activities tracker. I am tracking my exercise on an entirely different spread this month, whereas normally I would just put it on my habit tracker. And that's because I recently got back into Muay Thai or boxing, and I don't know how I would track that on my traditional style habit tracker because I go there like once a week or sometimes twice or on a different day. So I think this is a better way to track all my exercise in one place. So I started with drawing this really long window. It is as long as it is because I need to fit in 30 days vertically, so it spans like the whole length of this page. Then on the side there is some space left, so I drew these little folders again for some decoration on this page. Then I made these bars of color, which are going to be the 3 things I track: my morning exercise, my evening exercise, and I labeled the last one as other, which is for my boxing classes or any other activities, like if I go ice skating or something. Then I just put in the numbers 1 to 31 down the side, to 30 down the side, and wrote in the label for each bar. Moving on to the last spread of this setup now, which I named Today's Adventure. Today's adventure is kind of like my main focus for each day. So basically every morning I will write in one thing I want to get done that day, and if I get that thing done, then I will consider that day as a success. Right now I am spread so thin between so many different things, so I feel like having this section in my bullet journal will really help me feel less overwhelmed and more satisfied with what I managed to get done that day. So the window on this page is pretty similar to the one on the left, but just 2 grid spaces shorter and has pink bar instead of a green one. I wrote 1 to 30 again down the side here, and then added a black drop shadow with my thick Pigma Micron to the folders here. And then I also went back to change the colors of all the other drop shadows to be this black. And we are done with this setup. So here's a final flip through of the spreads we did today. I am not really sure how I'm feeling about this theme, but it is growing on me, and I'm glad I finally tried out the computer screen theme that everyone seems to have done by now. If you want to see what these spreads look like filled out, then make sure to go follow me on Instagram because I'll be posting them there throughout the month, and I would love to see you there. My Instagram and my shop, jamandbutter.net, is linked down below in the description as always. And thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Have a wonderful day or night. Bye!